Councilman Wright.
Would you pray with us? Our Heavenly Father, tonight we pray for your blessings on this meeting. We pray for your guidance as we conduct the business of our citizens.
Amen.
And Father, we thank you for all the accomplishments that we have seen in the past in our town. Father, may your Holy Spirit continue to help this mayor and council to continue to do your will and to move our city forward in the future. Bless each person here tonight and their families and neighbors. Father, we pray for our nation that the divide
Amen.
that's among our people might be some way corrected. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. I'd like to declare a quorum. Motion to approve the minutes of the January 20th, 2026 meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Brackett. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Brackett.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the salaries.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Laxton,
Motion.
second by Councilwoman Harris. Councilwoman Laxton.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
John Brackett.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Cheryl Laxton. Yes. David Bansdale.
Yes.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Laxton,
I'll second it.
second by Councilman Johnson. Councilwoman Laxton.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
John Brackett.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Cheryl Laxton. Yes. David Bansdale.
Yes.
Motion carries. This time we'll hear from delegation. If you'd like to address this council, please come to the podium, state your name, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Your service name is Zachary Ramsey Worth. Dillis Baptist Church bought title to an orphanage. Both my legal wives and a complex cast of characters are there. And I'm out of the game. God bless.
All right. Honorable Mayor and members of the Harriman City Council. Honorable Mayor and members of the Harriman City Council. My name is Trey Coley, and I'm the Benefits Service Coordinator at the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 6598 Goldston Winston Chapman Post. I'm here today on behalf of the post, and I'm here to share some of the significant progress we have made over the last year. We have reaffirmed our commitment to the Harriman community. We have had over 30,000 in physical improvements to our facility, and it wasn't just a facelift. It was a structural reinvestment in this what we consider to be a Harriman landmark that has stood for well over 75 years in the city of Harriman. Because of these upgrades, we want to invite the city of Harriman to use our post with the city, private citizens, civic groups, anyone in the community. We open our doors and we welcome those that would like to use our facility to use it. But I want to reiterate, we're more than just a building. We are a veterans advocacy group, and we have done a lot of things, not just in the last year, but since the last 20 years since I've left the service. We have done a lot of good work to help veterans in this community, whether it be filed for their benefits, give them transportation to medical appointments all the way to Nashville and beyond. And we have hosted youth programs like a kids' day, and we've supported our local Scouts of America group monetarily and with volunteerism. I would just we honor our local heroes as well, and that's I'm looking for your input today. We have a Teacher of the Year award that we will be starting this year, and we have a Public Servant of the Year award, which is basically a paramedic, a policeman, a fireman, and a first responder. So I would like all the people on this council to know that we are here in the community, and we value your input, and we would like to thank you for your support to our post and our veterans here in the community. That's about all I have for you today. So I'll meet with you individually offline, in the coming days and weeks. And I look for your input, and we look for your input. And I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you for your service. Trey.
Anyone else like to address council? If not, we're going to go into reports. Harriman Utility Board.
All right. I'd like to start out giving some updates about HEB Fiber, and I will then address the storm that occurred last week. In our HEB Fiber department, we now have 106 customers connected and using our internet service. We're very proud of that. Everything seems to be going very well. I have another 206 customers that are on the schedule list for installation, so they've already filled out their applications and they're just waiting on us to get to them. So we have been building a little bit of a backlog this month, and that's a great thing for us. We are ramping up our installation services, so we hope to get to them as quickly as we can. We are adding new customers to that list every single day. If you know someone, or if someone's listening that wants to be an HEB Fiber subscriber, we'd encourage you to visit our website, hebfiber.com, or give us a call. We're happy to provide you the fastest, most reliable, and only local internet option. We're now available in scheduling installations downtown Harriman, Oakdale Highway, Meadowview, the Walnut Hill area, Emory Heights, and Swan Pond and Riggs Chapel Road. And very soon, we're going to announce that we're ready for Hidden Acres, Rockbridge Road, Webster Pike, Little Emory, Ladd Estates, and the new Emory Creek subdivision. So, doing a pretty good job on this side of town. Some of the council members asked me about West Hills last month, and I don't want to promise you, but maybe by the end of summer we can get into West Hills. So it's not as far off as I thought it was. We are going as fast as we can, though. So you can get on our interest list anytime. We'll call you when we're ready, though. We are starting to connect small businesses. We will have voice over IP telephone service and our more custom internet plans for business available later this year. Another thing that we're working on in the spring and summer, and would be excited to work with the city on this, is building out our Smart Town community Wi-Fi service. So if you've got ideas for community Wi-Fi and you want to work with us on that, we're looking forward to those conversations. Lastly, our HEB office lobby is closing early tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. to allow for customer service training that is also related to fiber. Now I'd like to talk about the storm last week. Appreciate the city having us involved before the ice storm hit to talk about what might be happening, what the latest weather reports is, making sure we all have access to all the phone numbers and people that we need to talk to throughout the event. We were prepared for a quarter to a half inch of ice. I don't know that I've seen any official measurements, but we have visually observed at least a quarter inch of ice in some locations. What really helped us, though, is the ice did melt away. So unlike our friends in Nashville, we were able to drive around a lot better 24 hours after the event than they were. Their ice stuck around for many days. But Harriman was in this weird little sliver of impact where we didn't get the snow, we didn't get all rain, we got some ice. And that ice hit us the evening of Saturday, January 24th, and lasted into the early morning hours. That resulted in a lot of damage to our system, not necessarily in the city, but all over our electric system. In total, we had 24 broken utility poles. That's a giant storm for us. That's one we would typically see some FEMA help on. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We also had some additional poles that had some minor damage. We had to replace some cross arms and things on. A lot of down lines and widespread outages. I'll give you a little bit of idea about the timeline. Our first outage call came in Saturday at 8:10 p.m. We kind of waited around all day watching the freezing rain, and finally hit about 8:10 with the first outage. And our second outage was at 9:24. Then throughout the night between 9:24 and 3 a.m., things just sort of started breaking down all over the place. We hit our peak outages at 3 a.m. Sunday morning, which was about a little over 3,800 customers without power. By 8 a.m. Sunday morning, we were down to 1,965 customers, and by Sunday afternoon, we were calling in all the help we could get. And one reason is because the outages were a lot of problems. They weren't a lot of people on one or two problems. They were problems widespread. So we may have had 150 different locations we were trying to get to as fast as we could. And the other reason is because the temperatures were dipping into single digits, and we knew that was going to happen. Monday morning, Tuesday morning was going to be extremely cold. So we wanted to make sure we threw as much resources at it as we could. We did utilize Facebook a lot. That's just really one of the fastest forms of communication that we have. Even if you're not on Facebook, someone in your family or life might be there to give you an idea. And we always had our 24/7 dispatcher available to take calls and give updates. We got our last customer restored Tuesday evening. Most folks were back on by Monday, but we did have about 50 overnight Monday night that we couldn't get on till Tuesday evening. I mentioned earlier we were kind of like in this little sliver of impact. It kind of skirted through the kind of right north of Interstate 40 through Roane County, hit Oakdale as well. That's so we had some efforts in Morgan County as well, but not the northern part of our Morgan County customers, really just right through the center. Rockwood had impacts as well. I talked to their manager. They had probably 8 to 12 poles that were damaged. So we probably had about, I said we had 24 plus a few others that had some other damage. I want to just take a minute to thank all of the mutual aid and contract helpers that came and supported us. The first ones to arrive were Gainesville Regional Utilities. Those were 15 linemen from Florida that were sort of stationed close to Tennessee, kind of ready for whoever needed help. So they offered us help very early, and they were the first to arrive. And we also had Sevier County Electric System, the City of Alcoa, Loudoun Utilities Board. They were the second to arrive on Sunday. Cleveland Utilities, Athens Utilities Board, they came to us after they finished helping Rockwood, so that was pretty cool. And I think they actually went and helped someone else after they got done with Harriman. So just want to show appreciation for the value of public power and having people just like us to call and get help when we need it. And our HEB linemen would definitely return the favor whenever we're needed. In addition, we did call in some 8 different right-of-way helpers from Dark Horse Electric to supplement our own in-house crews. So at peak response, we had more than 70 individuals that were non-HEB employees working in our systems. That's probably the most we've had in a long time. This is looking like it is going to be FEMA reimbursable. Roane County Emergency Services and Morgan County Emergency Services, both of them have been very great to work with. They're very communicative, telling us, the deadlines and things. So we're looking at applying for potentially 75% reimbursement from FEMA and 12.5% from TEMA. So we've got some work to do to get that, but we're looking at in total about a $700,000 storm damage. So between materials and labor and mutual aid and everything.
Well done.
So, is there any
Thank
questions?
you,
I just want to say, Candace, and some of you all, we had our HEB monthly meeting last night, and just in case the people that are watching online and for those that are here, Candace did an outstanding job to prepare for the storm. And I didn't even know that she had a quote-unquote war room situation that she did. In case this does hit, these are the things we need to do. And so leadership, as our leader is right here, but your leadership for HEB there are not any words that we can say in reference to that. But I thank you, and I'm sure the rest of the council thanks you for preparing. Yeah, if nobody's utility wants to go out, Alicia's going to raise her first hand. I don't want mine to go out either. But things happen, and it's not that they were not or have not been doing their job. It's just the ice came, just like the people in Nashville. There was no anticipation that all those people were going to be without power, because Nashville is big, big place, and little bitty old Harriman, we did an outstanding job in getting the power back on, reaching out to mutual aid, which really blew me away. 70 people from somewhere else was helping get our power back on. So some people may have been upset, but thank God nobody died, nobody got sick because of those things. Those are the things, you got to look at the positive side. And they quickly got the power back up. So I applaud you as well as the entire staff and the team members and the helpers that got the power back on for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Candace. Job well done.
Thank you, Candace. Mr. Ayler.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to report that we had a very smooth audit earlier in the month of January. So that is the physical visit part is completed, and there's just a couple more items that they're still needing from me, and I expect to have those to them very soon by the end of this week. We received the paperwork or the proposals for the bond offering that the city is considering. I'm going to be sending out an email to the Finance Committee and the Mayor regarding setting up a meeting to discuss those terms, and I obviously do have a recommendation. And also, additionally, this year I've been requested to create a list of properties that are about to go to out for delinquency, which is to say there will be at the end of this month there'll be more than 2 years delinquent in paying their in not paying their property tax. And so I have that list created, and due to the length of the list, I suggest that we send it out via email, via PDF. It's about 47 pages. But I do want to caution council members and let you know that over the next 4 weeks, that probably 90% of those are going to fall off. But if there's something on there that you think someone may not know about, that they're on there, like one of the things to look for is if somebody closed a business and they still have personal property tax outstanding, they may not know about it because they think, oh, well, I closed my business down, but maybe they didn't notify the assessor's office or something like that. That's typically when those kinds of issues arise. So so that's what I would look out for if you see somebody that you know has closed a business and it's showing up on there. But most of those will fall off, probably more like 95% of them will fall off by the end of the month. That's all I have. I'd be happy to take any questions. Oh, I do want to mention we had a 2.5% increase year over year on our sales tax receipts. So we continue to trend in a very positive direction regarding sales tax revenue.
Okay. Anybody have anything for Chris?
I don't. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Mr. Owens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the past 15 days or so, we have reviewed numerous contracts, some of those that you'll have in your packet tonight, others we'll have later on in the month. The video arcade ordinance I know has been worked on extensively, mostly by Gavin Smeltzer of our firm, and Scott Mason. There is we provided some guidance for slum clearance today, which I think will be very useful for the city's use. And we want to do the same thing with our, we call it our junk vehicle ordinance. But more than that, we have prepared an amended junk vehicle ordinance, and actually in the state statute, junk vehicles are now called immobile vehicles. And so it'll be an abandoned or immobile vehicle ordinance. And it'll replace a lot of the provisions that we have now. A few of those are out of date, and so we're going to bring them up to our present statutory standards. And so that'll be coming at the next meeting. We plan to introduce that. And along with that, we'll also provide guidance for our staff to use whenever they administer that ordinance. You know, we want it to be clear and concise, and that's what we strive to do with our ordinances, and that's what we'll do with our guides as well. So we've been hard at work in those areas, and I think the city will greatly benefit from that. Be glad to answer any questions anybody might have.
You say next at our next meeting you'll have that information?
Yes, ma'am. We will have an amended ordinance for our abandoned or immobile vehicles.
Okay. Okay.
And it'll take a couple of readings, but we'll have the first one next time.
Okay. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Mason?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the City Council. You have before you is updated edition, and for people in the audience, of the direction. It'll be finalized by our department heads by Friday, and then I'll get that out. But just to follow along, I want to hit on some points just very quickly from our street department. Most of the last 2 weeks have been not only preparing for the bad weather that was coming, but also especially cleaning up, trying to help HUB, anybody that needs it. But a lot of trees that were down. And speaking with Drac and Candace, and I want to again applaud HUB's efforts within the city limits. I think Candace told me very few trees were down, and that just goes to applaud the efforts that went in prior to any of this, just keeping those trees cut back. So very lucky, but that's what Drac's been working on, his crew. And also we did have one issue on Ayler Drive. A tree came down because of ice. They did get the road cleared. However, we've made contact. We think it's either Comcast or a telephone line that is really drooped low, and that's not been repaired yet. Normal vehicles can make it under, and it is safe. It's either a telephone or a Comcast, but they've not been out to raise that particular line, but the road is clear. On our Parks and Rec.
Hey, Scott, before you move on, sorry to interrupt. Let's give the kudos to the street department. I've seen the communication. We talked about the prep work that HUB did. Our street department did a heck of a job, not just the day of the night before the storm, but the weather we've had thus far. Cheryl, you even commented, so I'll let y'all talk to it.
And I promise it won't be 20 minutes, but that's on my final thing right there. Finally, so.
Cheryl.
It won't be 20 minutes from now, but yeah, I am. We'll, on our Parks and Rec, just bring you an update right there that HVAC and flooring contracts have been signed with our LPRF. That scheduled time will be in March next month, so hopefully have that completed by the end of spring. Again, that's our new HVAC and our floor in the commons area in the community center gym. Our events. Jen does a great job getting that information out, posting videos. She's on the City of Harriman's website. Also, what's coming up for every month throughout the next year. Some of the things we want to highlight, though, on February 28th, tickets are going fast. It was very popular last year, Superheroes and Princesses. The Harriman Rotary Club on March 21st is the Daddy-Daughter Dance, and that'll be held at Roane State. They're still accepting sponsors for that, but they expect over 200 daddies and daughters to attend that. And then also Jen is doing interviews, highlighting Black History Month. Oh, she's in the back, in the very back. Yes, so, and you can see that, again, we try and get that out. You can go to our Facebook page, Jen's calendar. She does a great job with our social media, keeping not only upcoming events, but as we had changes due to the weather for our waste connections, our roads, we depend a lot on Jen to get that information out. And if you didn't notice, standing back there next to Jen is Cole Polly.
What'd you say?
Wave Cole Polly. Cole is a Harriman High School sophomore, and he is in, I think it's the TV production class, but Cole is training tonight to run our cameras and our microphones during our city council meetings. From our fire department, that's updated with our January statistics. We also emailed out the end of the year stats for all of our fire department. A couple of things. Our engine 2 is in the process of getting the new engine, which you all approved at our last council meeting, and the new transmission. Chief, when are we expecting that back? Do we know? Mid-March. Also, we did, as part of mutual aid, we had a city managers meeting today, and our ladder truck responded to Rockwood Sunday afternoon. They had the fire in downtown Rockwood. So just a great job by our fire department. You can look down there. The annual fitness test begin this week. And Lieutenant Miller is enrolled in fire science program through Columbia Southern. Anything else we need to add to that, Chief Johnson? Yeah, under our police, if you look on item 2 there, several of our officers are going through different training, SWAT school, K-9 school, Tennessee Narcotics Association instructor development, and firearms training for the whole PD. Chief Tapp, anything I need to add to that? Yes, and I'll send that out tomorrow. Yeah, we got it actually before the fire department. I just not gotten that far down on my email list. So yeah, I will get that to council this week. Our library, all of that under your direction is all brand new items. But if you take a look down through there, we're working. Connie is working in partnership with TCAT Harriman to fix some of our shelves that have been in place since 1909, but just to be able to keep our shelves there. So she's got that partnership. We're eagerly awaiting the $10,000 check to come in from the Carnegie Corporation. Be nice if we can get it before we have our next library board meeting, which is this week. But she will receive that as being a Carnegie Library to use as how she and the library board see fit. The schedule, there is a new schedule for children's program, and she has that listed there, as well as the summer reading program, Uneartha's Story, on item 4. Always very popular and well attended during the summer. We're in the process of getting estimates for new carpeting on all 3 levels, and new books have been ordered for the state grant. Anything else you want to add to that, Connie? Our safety committee has a meeting this week, and I think it's been 2 or 3 months already. I can ask our safety coordinator, Johnson. January, we had no injuries whatsoever across the city, so that is huge. And just kudos to our employees and our department heads and John and that safety committee really trying to emphasize that. All of the city employees are in the middle of completing our required annual training, and you can, John can tell us, we have till the end of March, I think, to finish that. Our grants update, we did qualify on the RTP. That's a recreational trail program. We qualified in order to proceed to the full application process, so that's underway. And again, what that will be applied for is to the paper mill site, where we want to put the 1 mile walking trail, restrooms, basketball court, and the sand volleyball court. Going to get in touch with Frankie. He and I are going to go down and locate what would be the best effort for those restrooms right there, as close to the existing sewer line as possible. And once we can determine that, then Jen have already talked, we will have a press release to show what that's going to look like in phase 1.
So would that be inclusive of Heath for the electrical, or Wade Bullitt for the electrical, for the lighting as well?
Yes. On the paper mill site?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about doing underground, but because of the railroad location, so from Emory Road or the community center, we will go across the line, go across the road. That would be overhead, and then it's our hope as we move through the grant process, we can drop down and then run proper electrical for hopefully lighting along that walking trail. And finally, just to give a broader overview, like Candace said, we did report our TEMA and our FEMA findings. The city, I had a meeting in conjunction with HUB. That took place on the Friday before the storm hit. And we all got together and tried to do our best from a planning point of view, get ready for any scenario before the storm hit. And again, that was all the department heads, the mayor, the vice mayor was there, I think Councilman Brackett, and HUB representatives. So we left there feeling really good. We've been through some storms last couple of years, but I think the city and HUB were as prepared we could have been for both weekends when we went through there. Total cost at the city, when you take the police, the fire, and our public works, was a total of $17,845. DRAC put out over 2,600 gallons of brine and over 40 tons of salt. We do have plenty of salt left, but we have gone ahead and placed a replacement order for that. But when you look at the cooperation, and I talked to Candace a couple of times during these storms, talked to all of our department heads, the communication was there along with our local TDOT office, what they needed because they were shorthanded. Some of their crew had been sent to Memphis and Nashville. So the communication along with our county was really effective. And I think when you look at how we came through the storm, while we were hit worse, and Candace gave you the totals, we were truly lucky at the speed and efficiency in which the electricity was put back on. I went down that Sunday evening. The mayor had food set up through HUB for these line workers that had come in. And you talk about a dedicated group of employees, these linemen that came in and just had been working 20 and 30 hours, truly dedicated to their job. And then when you talk about the City of Harriman departments, DRAC, I think I sent an update. They came out at all hours of the night. They prepped the roads to the best of their ability. And even this past weekend, I got out at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, and I was amazed at what the roads looked like. Of course, DRAC and crew worked all day long. And then Sunday, when you get out of church, I mean, the improvement we had, and that all goes into the prep. And like I said, DRAC's crew did a phenomenal job, our police and as well as our fire department. We were ready. We did have a meeting this week, post-storm review. What can we do better? What improvements can we make? And we included Russell Jenkins and Mayor Cresswell on that. If we ever have a true catastrophic, what would we do? How would we house people? So we're beginning to look at that and what that looks like. And certainly hope and pray we never have anything to that magnitude, but we need to be prepared should we have. One of the things we found out after we finished this most recent storm, we had figured out our phones, we didn't hit a button upstairs, so when somebody would call in, it automatically rolled to 911. It's a simple fix. Chief Tapp and I talked about that, so that will be improved. So if we have somebody up there, they will talk to a live person. And then we did have quite a bit of kerosene that we bought 2 years prior, people that ran out. Luckily, it was not a long process without power. So what are we going to do with this extra kerosene? We'll store it at the golf course and certainly find a use for it. But again, I can't sing the praises enough of what our departments, what HUB did to get power back on and make our roads and make it for the safety of the citizens and everybody involved. They did an outstanding job. Also spoke with Heath Lewis from HUB. If you've been to exit 347, all those lights were replaced a couple of years ago, but you go to exit 350, I think we have 4 high mast lights there. They still have the halogen and don't know the proper term, but they need to be replaced. We talked about this at our last workshop. Talked to a couple of individual electrical groups. They're going to come out and look at that and see if we are truly capable of retrofitting those existing light structures with LED lights, or if it's a true retrofit package. So hopefully they'll be able to come back to you. We talked about what's that cost. It may be something we have to build in over 2 years, but to get those replaced with LED lights, make that intersection a whole lot safer. Also talked about our TDOT safety plan. Commissioner Ben Wilson and the Vice Mayor, we've been involved in that. We passed a resolution several weeks ago requesting the immediate attention of the dollars that are supposed to be delegated to the I-40 corridor here in Roane County and how it affects not only city of Harriman, Rockwood, and Kingston when there's a wreck. The traffic flow on I-40 just over the past year has increased by 50%, and it does impact our emergency units and our citizens. So we're hoping to get a meeting scheduled very soon with TDOT to look at this as growth continues. How can we best be ready for the increase in traffic? And I did share some pictures, the off-ramp on exit 350 in the afternoons, and then of course the interchange right there by Walgreens at Pine Ridge and Highway 70. So we've submitted those plans and hopefully can get some movement on that, but I'll keep you updated as well. John mentioned a couple of things that are out of date. If you recall, back in 2024, council approved us to go through MTAS to have our codes and zoning recodified, and we were expecting a 2.5-year process. We were number 7 in line as far as the cities that had to go through the recodification process. That actually started for the city of Harriman in October of 2025, and I spoke to MTAS last week. Currently, they're under an ordinance list review. Once that's complete, it'll go to legal review for MTAS. We expect that to occur in April. Then it goes to compared against a model code, word processing, and then the city council will have the first draft of our code or ordinance list, hopefully early summer for your approval. But as I was talking to MTAS, they said, goodness gracious, a lot of these are really out of date. And I think it was 1974. And as John mentioned, what council has done effectively over the last 4 years that I know of, you all have amended ordinances to help meet any issues that we have. So we'll continue to do that until we get our recodification process complete. And Chris mentioned this. We have the list of those delinquent real and personal properties. What we'll do, that's emailed out. That's over 48 pages. So we'll send that to you. Take a look if there's any adjustments that need to be made. And like Chris said, hopefully 90 to 95% of this will be reduced by the time we have to send it over for collection. But if there's any adjustments, we'll certainly bring this for council approval at our next meeting in February. And final thing that I need to say here, we do have a workshop on February the 12th. I think the mayor is going to mention this a little bit right at the end. And also, Trey didn't mention it, but Trey and I met. He came in last week, and the VFW wants to do a day of service. And so they're going to go down, pick a day. They're going to clean the statues at Riverfront Park. They're going to paint the inside of the pond. As we got to talking, I've been in conversation with Greg Buckles, and what can we do more as a city, especially on Dr. Martin Luther King Day. So talk with Trey about that, and what we want to do is get with the community. I'll get with Jen, and what we'll do is really encourage next Dr. Martin Luther King Day, a day of service from middle school, elementary school, all the way to retirement age. And Trey is going to be a big part of that. We look forward to a good relationship with him and the VFW.
Good.
Unless you got questions from me, that's my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mason. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we had Codes on there and you didn't hit Codes, but I know Codes has been very busy. But just to let everybody know that he's going around and working, and I think that the council has been, I know that 2 or 3 of you all have been giving him a list of things to check into, as I have, and I'd like to say that Nathan is doing an outstanding job in seeing that.
Very good.
But our biggest thing here on council is to make sure that we support him, because we're gonna have people that don't like cleaning up or changing things. And one of the things was on the junk cars, one person's junk's another person's treasure. We just have to define what junk is and what treasure is. But we're just asking everybody to clean up and to work with Nathan. He'll work with you, but if he puts restrictions on you, and get it cleaned up. So we appreciate what you're doing.
I appreciate you saying that, Mayor. I didn't mention him because he didn't update the direction yet, but and he'll do that, I know, by the end of the week. But what we have done, just to give you we've been in several sessions this week, one yesterday and one today, looking at what the permitting process will look like. I know we've talked about that as a council, and I've told you that it's an area that I don't feel comfortable in just jumping. I want to make sure we have our I's dotted and T's crossed before, but we're heading in a very positive direction. Felt very good after our sessions that we had yesterday and today toward what's it going to look like to be permitted in the city of Harriman. So we're moving in a very positive direction. And I didn't remind him to update the direction. I didn't mean to take a dig at him, but we'll get it updated by the end of the week.
I've been too busy doing other things to update it anyway.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
You're doing well. Appreciate you.
This time we'll go into new business. First item, discuss and possibly approve the contract with C&K Construction for $77,800.14.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Brackett,
Second that.
second by Councilman Vansdale. Councilman Brackett.
No, sir.
Councilman Vansdale.
Who do we have set up to do inspections on this? It doesn't say. Do we have anyone that we can send out to check? Audits and inspections? There's no one listed on that. Do we have anyone from the city that'll be able to do that, or can we steal someone from the utility with a?
Probably that and Rome County Building and Codes. You're talking about that type of inspection.
Well, building and codes, they should meet it to that, but to make sure, like, building and codes meet it versus the standards, we want to make sure it never happens again. It's always a good idea to have an inspector on site or someone who's familiar with excavation work.
I know we were in comparing in preparing the RFQ, we did have TDOT involved, so TDOT will be there as well. Now whether they be on site the whole
Yeah,
time.
they stop in and come and go. though.
Yeah.
If we could have someone like stop in once a day randomly, it just keeps them on their toes, make sure they won't short us in any kind of
So
way.
you send someone with a excavating license or whatever, would we
No,
need to?
somebody with a background in earth moving construction, I think, is always a good idea, especially when you're burying things under the ground. You're not going to know what the problem is for 20 years, and then when the problem shows up, it turns into a giant sinkhole.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Can you mention briefly what we're doing here for the public?
Yeah, and I've got a picture up here. You can see the two sinkholes there and there, here and there. It's been an ongoing problem, and John can give a lot more information. This started back in 2000. Yes, a long time ago, and just issues back and forth, lawsuits, counter lawsuits. So this is a lot of hard work on the issue of everybody involved in this, and certainly our legal team, and coming to, I think, what's going to be a very satisfactory end. But those have been an eyesore. Those properties have not been able to be utilized. The business next door has suffered greatly because of this, and so in coming to this means right there, I feel very confident after talking with CK Construction. Hopefully after 2.5 weeks, when this is completed, it will be something we don't ever have to worry about again. And I did explain to the mayor the contract, probably an item on the agenda. We probably should have had that 2 weeks ago, but hopefully they'll start tomorrow and can have an update for you by our next council meeting.
Have we been in the buildings? Have they, I mean,
No, I just
all
know
the
that Mr. Gilliam cleaned out his building, but as far as the Hester property, we've not gone into that building to my knowledge.
okay, so we don't know if it's usable or,
No, and probably over the next 2.5 weeks, if we're legally qualified to go in the building, I think we are, yeah.
Okay,
We'll
that's
make
fine.
entrance and just see what the interior looks like. But it's our goal, to answer Councilman Vansdale, those two sinkholes, when it's all said and done, those will be filled in. There'll be a proper drainage right here next to the culvert for Highway 27 right there.
So the smaller lot right there, the one next to CVS, that's the old
Hester.
Hester property.
Mhm.
The city now owns that,
okay.
so,
Well, that's what I was thinking, that,
yes, and the property next, and it has a building on it, and as far as I know, we have not gone into that building.
Okay.
But from what I understand, it has a basement, and the basement has been full of water in the
I,
past.
yeah,
And the building next door to it, going to the left as you look at the picture, that's the Gilliam property, and that is now owned by Ms. Carr. And so as a resolution to the lawsuit that we've been in probably for 7 or 8 years, it began with 2 city attorneys ago.
Yeah.
We received part of the property and Ms. Carr received the other, and we agreed as part of the lawsuit to make the repair so that this flooding doesn't occur again. And so we're holding up our part of the bargain.
And that'll settle everything, right, John?
That's right. And the lawsuit has been settled, it has been dismissed, and so we're just following up and doing what we agreed that we would do.
Do we have any proposed plans of what we're gonna do with our portion, our building there?
In all honesty, I think, like
Yes.
Councilwoman Laxton said, we need to,
Ms. Carr has the first option to purchase it.
Okay.
But we want to recoup most, if not all, of our costs that we have involved in.
By selling
If that occurs. Otherwise, then we may.
were the taxes paid on it, John?
They are,
Everything's paid, okay.
yes.
Okay.
That was all part of the settlement.
Okay.
All the taxes have been paid.
I'm sure the building is gonna be in horrible shape. I mean, it's not, the doors haven't been opened,
I'm guessing, but I think that's a good guess.
yeah.
Any other questions? Thanks, Scott. Call the roll, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve the contract with American Municipal Services Corporation for the collection of delinquent court fines and fees.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson,
I'll second it.
second by Councilwoman Laxton. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Laxton.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. I read the contract, and my question is, in the contract, I know what we've talked about, but I didn't see anywhere in there as to how far back we're going. And nor did I see that we can terminate this at any time with a written, letter from them or from us. But my thing is how far back are we going to start collecting fines?
We have Blake Stansberry here, represents AMS, but I had John and Gavin look at that. And basically, the way Gavin put it, we are in complete control of this. I think it was the wish of the council to go back no further than 365 days. So we have that ability. We can limit to 6 months. We can go back 12 years, whatever we want to do. But in talking with Blake and the formation of this contract, basically whatever we send them becomes for collection. So it actually starts from here. In speaking with Megan, and she'll go through a downloading process where they learn how to do this, but it's what we turn in. So I think council has designated, we'll go back 365 days, and that one will start the collection.
But 365 is not in here, is it?
No, but there's wording in there that says what we send.
So, do we have to do that every time? I mean,
Whatever it is that we send them.
but what I'm saying is, you're saying the city has to do that. Right now, it's not in there, so every time we send them something, we gotta decide that, or would we not put that in this contract to
Yes,
go
the
ahead and approve
services
it that
agreement,
way?
yeah.
It's whatever comes from the city, so we could go back, and AMS has even recommended us going back 3 years.
What we want, I think the council, from what I understand, we wanna only go back a year.
Yes.
Because we don't wanna go back and start, we think a year was good. So I'm asking the question, if council's okay that we put 365 days in that, so it don't have to come back before us again and approve what we send to them. Anything that's 365 days old would automatically, you guys would have the permission to go ahead and send it to them. Does that sound okay? Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
We can
Would
add
we
that,
have the
John?
option to extend that?
Do what?
Would we have the option to extend that in the future?
Extend what?
Like for another year?
Yeah.
I think once you send it to them, once they start collecting on that year, it's with them. They can keep that going. If it takes them 4 years to collect, they have it. So you wouldn't go back no further than that, because that's where your stopping point would be.
Anything that's in arrears up to 365 days.
Yes, sir.
We can put that in.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, if the council were to come together and say, Scott, we want to go back 3 years, it's as simple as me going to Megan and say, hey, make sure you send 3 years now, or 2 years.
But I don't think we even want to have that discussion. I think we're all decided we want 365 days and be done with it and move on.
And that's why I communicated to AMS and Blake. That was the wish of the council.
So with this service agreement, would Tim need to amend his motion to say only 365 days or not? Mr. Owens?
In arrears, so we'll be providing the information for collections on accounts that are delinquent up to 365 days from the day and continuing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And we'll put that provision in, so that's not a problem.
Awesome. All right, any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next time, discuss and possibly approve a first reading on ordinance 0226-01, an ordinance amending Title IX, Chapter 3, video arcades, pool rooms, bowling alleys, etc. of the Harriman Municipal Code. Scott, before I get a motion in a second, do you want to come up here and explain kind of
Yeah, please.
we've been talking about this for a while, but kind of explain what we're doing.
So when we started talking this probably a month and a half ago, and we had workshops over it, we saw that Chapter 3, video arcades, pool rooms, bowling alleys were way out of date. And so at our last workshop, we made a lot of changes. And the way this reads, on this particular ordinance, we've taken it by section 9302, 9303, shall be repealed in its entirety and replaced with the following wording. So as you go down through there and look, as we talked, what's that fee going to look like? Instead of for each one every 3 months, I think it was discussed with the council. If you look in 9302, one-time fee of $100 in 9302.
Is that when they apply for their license?
Correct. That was the initial,
Okay,
on the initial one-time fee, and that's when they would apply for that particular license.
okay.
When you look at section 903, that had the application, had that permission of the adjoining property owners, the affidavit of the petitioner. So what we did, from our discussions right here, you can look at that. Now it reads, the applicant under the provisions charter shall petition the mayor and city council in writing. So they still have to come with a petition saying the location. They're going to have 10-pin bowling alleys, box tables, video machines. The petition will be signed by the owner of the building to be occupied, so it takes out the businesses or around it or the neighbors. Also has to show they've never been convicted of a violation of any license, excise, or internal review. So that's the main section we took out right there.
Okay.
I know we had some discussion of that, but when you look at section 9304, we had a lot of discussion about proximity churches and schools. And what did it look like? So in speaking with Gavin, that's in place, completely replaced to say that the place or building occupied by the licensee in this chapter is not closer to any church, school building, library, or public assembly room 100 feet. Well, how do we measure that? And that's what we talked about. So Gavin looked into it. 100 feet, which shall be measured in an uninterrupted route from front door to front door of such establishments at a distance that's measured in a straight line from both of those points. So that defines exactly how you measure from front door to front door. It's not down the sidewalk and around it's in a straight interrupted line. It's the only change we made to 9304.
Okay. I'm good with that.
If you look at section 930, thank you, Zach, 9307, we talked about this, the section of it originally said we can't issue a license for longer than 3 months, and it had to be renewed to the city clerk. So what we did, we changed that. I think we put your wishes in there, that it would be for a period of no longer than 365 days instead of 3 months. We changed that out instead of city clerk, city manager, provided we have each year that will come up for renewal, and then we'll check with the police department. You know, if we have issues, certainly before that, the council has complete control over that particular license. Can be revoked at any time. Section 9308, we'd already covered, so we repeal it in its entirety. When you go to 9309, that was the section that dealt with intoxicating liquors on the premises, gambling or disorderly conduct. So what we did with that, we just took out on 9309 the intoxicating liquors. We removed that, and so you've got it shall be unlawful and a misdemeanor for the holder of a license of the provisions of this chapter, and if his or agents or employees or a person for him to permit gambling, disorderly conduct, or indecent conduct on the premises occupied by such licensee. Nine three oh 10, and this was one. When you read it, we took the whole section of 9310. That was minors prohibited and the exceptions. That's where anybody under 18 years old had to have parental permission to be in such establishment. So I think it was the wish of the council that we just remove that completely. The other one, and it could be a little confusing on 9311. In our last workshop, we had some talk about what closing hours would look like. And we use an example of Dave and Buster's, how we wanted that to look. So that's the same section. I've just copied it in both places to make any discussion tonight to determine that. Gavin did look into that. In our workshop, he said he would check into it. As a reminder of what Gavin told us, any establishment that serves alcohol is bound by TCA code, Tennessee Code Annotated. So they establish those hours. Any other hours of operation is entirely up to the city council at that time. So I just left it in there, and we can have discussion. Do we want to set those hours? Do we want to change them? Do we want to take them out, or we can leave them as is? I think I'm right on that, John. So the only thing that would change between our first and final reading would be if we decide to leave that, if we decide to change it, or we decide to take it out.
Yeah, and we really ought to change it tonight, because that might.
Yes.
It's a substantive change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which one is this, 11 or 10?
11.
11.
9311, closing hours.
10's been removed in total, correct? 10, 3010, 310's been removed in total.
Yes.
Yes.
10 has been removed in total. I have a question about that. And on 11, you're indicating we should remove the 10 p.m. Is that what was being said? What was it?
It's entirely at the wish of the council. The main thing to remember, any establishment that serves alcohol is governed by TCA when they can and can't serve. So council, then it responsibility, if you all want to set those hours of operation, council has the ability to do that. I think at our workshop, we liked those hours. There was some discussion that's currently written.
So the question is, do we want to take away the controls of time and allow them to run pool tables as long as they serve alcohol? So, okay.
Yes, they
That's
could.
simpler ways,
If they
yeah.
serve alcohol, then boom,
Yeah.
that's done. But whether you continue to allow the pool tables, the 10 pins, the
Well,
arcades to
alcohol cuts
continue to
off at
run.
3 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
When you stop serving alcohol, you're always gonna stop playing pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually.
I mean, we are pinning them down to where if they have any issues, then we can go in. I mean, they've been open, what, till 11 up the street, or
I think they've changed. It might be 10
it's
now.
10 right
Yeah.
now, but,
And on the weekends, they're open, aren't they, later than?
of course,
11
my daddy always said nothing good happened. So,
9 during the week and 10 during the weekend?
Yeah, but this is also for all future. That's something to think about. It's all future. I mean, we do
Yeah.
have really good controls with
right.
if there's
but-
issues with the chief of police, and with that,
Yeah.
we have recourse. Do we
Yeah.
Yes.
want
Yes.
to control time frame?
I
as well?
don't think we need to get into time.
I don't either. I think
I
we
don't
should
either.
take that out. That's just my thought.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I think, well, but most places aren't open past midnight in
Exactly.
town anyway, so.
Yeah.
So here's Gavin's words that he had in the memo to Scott. One idea may be to scrap the opening and closing hours for pool halls, as most, if not all,
pool halls will sell alcohol, and will have to abide by the rules on when alcohol can be sold. And he says, I'm not sure people will stay around to play pool, maybe some, after alcohol stops selling, but
You know, if it's Dave and Buster's, they would have to stop selling alcohol at a certain time. But they could stay open later for anybody that wanted to stick around
Yeah.
for pool and games. So one thought that he had was just scrap the opening and closing hours and let state law have its effect.
I think that's a good idea, because you never know if they're going to have like a youth lock-in or something.
Yeah.
Let the kids play all night. Like, now we're
Yeah.
meddling in that. That's kind
That's
of
a
a lot.
possibility.
That's
Yeah.
good consideration.
So I guess in what I'm hearing from the council, we want to take 9(3)(11) out because it's already governed as far as serving alcohol by TCA
Right.
and not,
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can always revisit it if it comes to that.
Sure.
Yes, exactly.
You can change it, just take us, a few weeks to do that.
Yeah. But we can see, and Barron's gonna let us know if any of them are problems or not.
and again, council has all the power. If we start having an issue, I don't think it's going to be closing times. I will come to council long before and make a recommendation. This license needs to be pulled from this particular establishment because of issues A, B, and C. I don't think it'll be over closing times. It'll be over something else. But yeah, it's as simple as that to revoke that type of license.
I think this new way it's worded and getting rid of the closing times, we already have such a strong control measure.
Yeah.
That if it's a delinquency, right, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We have a very clear method to fix that problem, and it's
Yes.
not as
Yes.
Yeah.
convoluted as before.
Yeah, I think that's good. State control with the,
So repeal both 310 and 311.
Yes.
Yes.
310 is already repealed
Right.
in its entirety. So what I'll do, I'll make that adjustment on this, and I'll get that to council by the end of the week to look at, and then that would be included in our final reading. 311 would be repealed in its entirety.
Thank you, Scott.
This, before the second reading, be a public hearing, since it's an
Yes.
ordinance.
Yes.
So the public will have an opportunity to come and speak, if
That's
they're
right.
for or against it,
Yeah.
to the council at our next meeting.
Yeah, it'll be at 5:45, I think on February the 17th is our next
I
meeting.
think it is, yeah, that's correct.
Any other questions? Motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Vansdale,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Harris. Councilman Vansdale.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Further discussion. Call the roll, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve a first reading on ordinance 0226-02, an ordinance amending the zoning map of Harriman, Tennessee by rezoning property from C2 General Commercial to C1 Central Business District, identified as map 026K, Group B, parcels 011.00, 013.00, 014.00, 014.01, 015.00, 15.01, 015.02, and 016.00.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
This one's in pain.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilwoman Laxton. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Laxton.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. this was sent to us from Planning Commission. They've already approved it.
Yes, sir. It was, I think, in December planning meeting. I can't remember exactly when, but it was unanimous recommendation from the planning committee.
And this is just the first reading?
Yep.
Okay, so this will be on the public hearing next time as well.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Last time, discuss and possibly approve bid from GMB Asphalt for $75,000 for the paving of Elliott Street, Janelle Court, Franklin Street, and Grigsby Street.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Brackett, second by Councilman Wright. Councilman Brackett.
No, sir.
Councilman Wright. Floor is open for discussion.
We have a person here for Janelle Court, and I think she wants to know exactly what's gonna be paved on Janelle. Do we have any maps or anything? Do we?
No, Janelle Court, for those that are not familiar, if you're on Roan State Highway and you pull in what used to be the Marshall Voss, it's in between what used to be Marshall Voss and the softball field at Roan State, and then the condos and townhomes in the very back. Drac and I looked at, when you look on the Tennessee Property Assessor, I'm not real sure that was a City of Harriman street. It looks like it's all privately owned by Marshall, what used to be Marshall Voss in the townhome. But Drac said he checked with the mapping at the courthouse, and I can get a picture for you. It does not stretch the entire way, but I want to double check that because it's not a big section. The part that belongs to the city has been in terrible state of disrepair over the years.
Well, Janet, which part were you asking about?
What I'll do, if it's okay with the council, I'll get with you at the end, we'll exchange contact information. I'll get with you by the end of the week and get a map and show you exactly.
And Janet had asked me at the end of last week, and I had Drac take me down there and kind of show me how far back we was going. And I was gonna come back and get with you, Janet, let you kind of know where he thought it was going to. But I think it was still in question as how far back we was going. Kind of what he showed me is where the pavement changes colors is where it stops, which you go back to Marshall Voss, when you pass where you go into their parking, it changes colors right there. He said he thought that's where it ended. But I was gonna come and ask you, I don't have a clue. I've looked on the maps and I can't tell what's in the city, what's outside the city. I know that the townhomes are not in the city. Huh? I don't think they are they?
Yeah, they
Are they
pay,
in the city?
they pay city taxes.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Drac don't think they're in the city, so I didn't look at that part.
I can verify that tomorrow. I'll
Yeah.
just look on
Start
the Tennessee
again-
Property
start
Assessor.
again.
Yeah,
with
I've
us.
sold, they're in the city of Harriman. Now, according to the tax roll.
I can double
And
check
we
that.
need to, if they're in the city, we need to find out what road, when they was put in the city, how much of that road did we take? You know, there's, I don't know how many townhomes are back there. 13, but.
Right.
That's a lot of money for us to have to assess, fix that parking lot, fix the road in, and, I mean, we want to get as much as we can get there before we have to start paying.
Scott,
I-
you'll go down and.
I will. I know as Drac and I's discussion, there is a portion, it's similar to a private residence with a driveway in the city. I think like the mayor said, it's a little past that turn into Marshall Voss. I know the property that I know standing before you tonight, that piece of that road that's in worse shape is definitely on the city.
Yeah, it's in bad
Definitely,
shape.
it's in terrible shape.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll get with
Yeah,
you
they
as soon as this
pay-
meeting's over. And
All of them pay, city and county.
Okay. Okay.
Scott will handle.
And just so the council knows, I think there's gonna be some more paving coming up, so he may be coming back at the next meeting or the meeting after that to change some of this number. If we find out that more of this road is, I know that I had asked DRAC about us capping at the Pine Hills that Councilman Brackett had been asking about to get a price on that. So there's a couple more things that we may try to get done while they're in here.
Told the mayor, we looked at that last year's part of the budget. I think I expressed, informed Councilman Brackett about that. That one little area was $50,000 from the quote that we got. And you look at these streets, and these are shorter streets, but they definitely need it, and they're used a lot. It's not much more than it was to do a basketball court. So we need to get another quote on that area out in Pine Hills.
Yeah, I was going to suggest do that because I've had a lot of constituents contact me on that. And there has been, a lot of kids in the neighborhood do go down there and play ball. If you fall on that court, I've seen some nasty tears on knees and stuff, so,
But we do have a list of roads, and we have a schedule for paving, and certainly if we have the funds, I think we put in the budget this year $250,000. So we started on the conservative side. The good thing about this group, if they're approved, they are local. And they came in by the next highest bid, I think it was $1,000, but had the other group had the lowest bid and we decided to go with them, it might be late summer before they get to us. They're so large. So luckily this group here, JB Asphalt, not only is it local, but they will be able to get to us very soon. So hopefully to have this paved early spring, just as soon as they start making pavement on a consistent basis.
Let me ask one more question real quick, and I meant to find this out earlier. I see the dimensions on the paper that you had given us. Is that like Elliott Street? Is that the whole street, or are we just patching portions of these streets? Because those are awful small streets if I'm looking at that and I'm thinking,
Well, Grigsby's about right, 12 feet wide.
yeah, 560 something feet.
Patching though, this is
That's
complete
the
paving.
length,
I
so
don't
it's,
think these are patching.
Oh,
Are these
really?
patches, Scott, or complete paving?
No, this is, when you look at the bid, it's the replacement of 1.5 inches surface mix and asphalt on the following streets. So let me double check with DRAC on that. Elliott
we don't
is a
need to be
fairly
doing
large one.
patching.
The worst one is about halfway down, going down the hill to Swan Pond. But I will double check and.
Yeah, that road's horrible. Tim's seen it, and we've all seen footage on it. We've actually went and looked at it, and
And these may be all roads, I don't know.
yeah, it may be.
275
Yeah,
for Franklin Street.
I'm pretty sure it is. I know Miss
Grigsby's
Collins lives
small.
on that, and she's been very,
That seems
very,
small.
very adamant about it.
It's
We're
real
trying to
bad.
definitely try to get that done.
Which one is this?
but now that Grigsby's
Elliott
the street,
And I think Douglas is
It's-
probably in
it-
there too.
500 and something feet back would be the whole street on Grigsby.
It may be, but I'm looking
you're
at
talking
how
about
much he
12 feet
shows me.
wide.
He showed me on Janelle Court what we was paving from the road to that other road, and it was from here to the front door. And
It's still
I'm
short,
thinking,
though. It is short,
Franklin's
But
though.
there's
275.
only,
Well, Franklin's 275. It's shorter
Okay.
than what we're doing.
Oh, then what we doing
Janelle.
on
I
Janelle?
just
I
want
see
to make
what
sure
you're
we're paving
saying.
the whole street.
Yeah. No patching.
That may not be all of it when you look at it, because if you come in off Douglas, that's in fairly good shape. But when you top the crest of that hill and start going down,
Yeah.
that is in
Yeah,
terrible
it
shape.
is, I agree.
So we may just be doing half of it.
I'll double check with DRAC on that tomorrow. The good thing is, if we decide if there's more to Janelle Court that we're responsible for, or we decide to do more on Elliott, we do have that money set aside in the budget.
Okay.
You said how much total paving dollars we had in budget?
We
Two?
put 250,000. But I did tell DRAC that was before the sweeper truck, and
Well, Chris was over there doing that, like, yeah, we got that, just move on. So, I'm taking that, he's feeling good
they
about
say,
it.
what?
I thought he meant we had more.
He said,
We have,
he said taxes are up right now as far as,
He said there's no limit.
sales tax, so we,
Is that what you said, Chris?
hey, Chris, I've got your back.
And the goal, this is, several years ago, one of our largest debt service payments will fall off in 2028. And that's when I think the city borrowed over $2 million for a large paving project. Over the last 4 years, we've been able to put money, some of it's come out of our general fund, but in speaking with the council during this last budget process, trying to do some paving every year and try and get 4 to 6 streets and keep that down, but still getting the roads in better shape without having to issue another bond.
But we did acclimate funds to do this previously, right? I mean,
Yes, in this year's budget, we had $250,000.
But we can adjust these if, just say Janelle ended up being more, then we can adjust if we need to take a street away
Yeah,
or something.
the only thing would be adjusting if we decide to lengthen what it is. You know, hopefully this is what they agreed to on their quote. But if we need to extend it,
Is there a contract? Can,
yes, I was gonna say, we wouldn't have to put that out for a rebid, would we?
maybe. If,
I don't think so. I think you can just do an adjustment.
if there, I saw there was a contract attached to one of these that would need a whole lot of work. So do we have a contract with JB Asphalt? Do we have an example?
Yes, we will have a
Or
contract.
We can create one.
Yeah, what we would do, and probably in hindsight, should have done the approval. I'm glad we didn't do it for this one, but it would be to approve this bid as well as for the city manager and the attorneys to enter in contractual agreement.
Correct.
Which is the way I'll word it in the future.
Yep.
So if it's approved tonight, what I'll do, we'll make the adjustments, and then I'll have a contract 2 weeks from today.
So, let me back up what you just said. Are you asking council for an approval to go ahead and give you guys the right to go into contract and us to spend up to a certain amount of money? So you don't have to bring it back to us, or you wanting to go back and get a contract and do like we did C&K, which I think,
To approve the bid amount of $75,000, with the approval of a contract that is reviewed and approved by the city attorney and city manager.
okay.
Which could include extensions possibly on John L. Court and Elliott Street.
And we
But
can
we
write
would have
that
the
into
authority.
contract.
You'll know that by the next meeting, and we can change, we can do something then on those, on the extension.
We can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and not,
Okay. Motion to approve. I don't think I got a motion, did I? Have I already got a
I think you
motion?
did.
yes,
Yeah.
I made a
Man,
motion
we're
on
talking
it.
too much. I'm way off.
Let's roll
Well, we
call.
got involved
Okay,
in
so we
this.
understand what the motion is and what the second is.
Yes.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Tim Johnson,
Yes.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
John Brackett.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright,
Yes.
Cheryl Laxton,
Yes.
David Mansfield.
Yes.
Motion carried. That's all on the agenda. We'll go into council remarks. Councilman Wright.
No,
Councilman Bansdale.
Punxsutawney Phil saw a shadow. Everyone be prepared for 6 more weeks of winter. Act appropriately in case it gets cold again.
In case it gets cold again.
All right, thank you. Councilman Johnson. Councilwoman.
Just thank you again for police, for fire, street departments, all the departments that were out there in the cold while I was at home in the warmth. So thank you for all that you all do.
I reiterate Councilman Harris's words very much.
I'm good.
The only thing I got, Councilwoman Harris, made a comment last night at the,
What did I say?
at the HEB board meeting, and it made me do a lot of thinking, because I always call social media and Facebook the devil. And she said I do that, but she also said that Facebook sometimes is the only means that people have to know what's going on. And I noticed from what Candace put out with HEB during the storm, that Facebook was the only means that people had to know what was going on, because their power was out. So they looked on their phones and they kept up with Facebook. So I'm not going to call Facebook the devil anymore. I think it does help. It's still got a little bit of devil in it, but it does help. And I appreciate the people that watch us
Yes,
live on
yes.
Facebook or whatever. And social media can be positive. We just need to use it in a positive way and try to stay positive with it. So that's the only thing I have. I think I appreciate you for pointing that out, because that's a great point.
Yes, thank you.
All right, if nothing else for this council, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? None.